Oh, hello, live. Welcome, loves. In another moment. Just making sure that your microphones are muted, please. We'll just give it another minute for others to join us, and just, if you'd like, you can turn on your camera. Welcome. Hello, my loves. Just checking in the chat before we begin that you can hear me clearly and you can see the slide that's up right now. Someone can let me know. Thank you so much. Just closing your eyes, dropping into the space. Placing one hand over the heart. And as we wait for more to join, just inviting you to fully drop into your body, into this space, this online temple, this online circle, and bringing into your awareness, your intention for your presence here. What called you to join this workshop, this online gathering? And just keeping the intention in your heart space, taking a deep breath all the way into the hips. Deepest breath of the day. And exhale out of the mouth, releasing any tension. And inviting you to be present with me for the next hour or so, to keep this intention in your heart space, to release all distractions, muting your phone if you're not on it, and opening to the medicine here today. Okay, my loves, how is everyone feeling before we dive into this? If you want to put in the chat, even just one word, how you're feeling today, what's the energy? And if you could just let me know that you also see my screen, Sacred Beauty, up right now. Perfect, thank you. Okay, how's everyone doing? Just getting grateful, yay! I'm grateful to be here too. I'm so excited. Dysregulated. Okay, inviting you to just breathe deeply. Release all distractions we can shake. Just shake off the day. And fully drop into the space together. Okay, my loves, I'm so excited for this class. So, this is really my first workshop sharing Ayurvedic wisdom, which is super exciting for me because recently I am a certified Ayurvedic practitioner who has never practiced before, which is very similar to my path of teaching yoga. So I attended, I think, 7 or 8 yoga teacher trainings without the intention of ever teaching yoga. This was over a decade ago. And after a series of divinely orchestrated events, and I just had a very clear message come through that I was meant to drop out of a university and become a yoga teacher. And when these polls, I call them soul polls, come through, we can't ignore them, right? Like it's like I have to do that. It doesn't make sense, but it's so alive in me. And just recently, I've moved to this beautiful forest sanctuary in Nevada City. If you are familiar with Nevada City, it is just this magical, beautiful community and forest in Northern California. It's a really, really special, potent land. And when I first visited the Shiva temple here, which is on a beautiful mountaintop, as Shiva is meant to be, afterwards, I actually got in a minor accident in my van. And I was stuck inside with my sick dog, and I had no vehicle for a week. And I won't get into the whole story, but during that week, it came through very strongly as I connected more to Shiva. And I was asking, why did you put me on this path? Like, why am I here right now? Because I had a lot going on that week as well. And as I was at the Shiva temple, it kept coming through again and again, repeating, show me the path and I will follow it wholeheartedly. And I didn't plan to say that. It just kept coming through and I kept repeating it on my knees, bowed down to Shiva. And then my van mysteriously got shot off of the road when I was driving home. And with all of this other stuff that happened that week, it brought me back to Ayurveda. And the message just came so powerfully through that I'm meant to be sharing this wisdom, which I wasn't really planning on doing. Of course, I have incorporated it into my teachings and my workshops and my membership, but I'm really fully focused on it right now. And it's really exciting. It feels really good. And I've had so much fun creating new content and offerings around this. So I just wanted to share that before we dive into this class. I'm grateful for your presence here. I'm really excited to be sharing this with you. So welcome to Sacred Beauty, a return to ritual, radiance, and the elemental feminine. So we're going to take a little journey together today into what beauty actually is. My personal journey, Ayurvedic wellness, beauty, radiance, and the doshas, the elemental feminine archetypes, which I've created based around the doshas. Sacred rituals to come back to your unique radiance. I will end this with an epic offering and a gift for you, and also ending with a really powerful practice to reclaim your power and your radiance. So before we begin diving into all of the information, we'll close our eyes again and inviting you to reflect on your very first perspective of beauty and experience of beauty. And this is before any of the conditioning, any of the ideas that society taught us. What was your first version of beauty? For me, I actually had one of my childhood dogs' name was Beauty. And she was so beautiful. She represented beauty on really a soul deep level. She had a very motherly, loving energy, and she was very special to me growing up. And when I think of my childhood, what comes to mind is also, I remember feeling like my mom and my aunt were the most beautiful humans I'd ever seen. And that was much more than how they looked externally. It was really their voice voices and their laughter and how they lit up a room like a human sunshine. Maybe you know someone like that. And I was just in awe of this beauty and this radiance. So just bringing into your awareness, before any magazines or algorithms and social media, what was your perspective, your soul's perspective of beauty and radiance? If you feel called to share it in the chat, I invite you to now. Is it an external look? Is it an energy, a presence, a feeling when you're around someone or around something? Mm. And this journey is really so much more than external beauty. Lakshmi is an example of divine beauty and radiance, and it's really reclaiming our true selves beyond what society has taught us, beyond what we've been told beauty and the feminine is. And I'll be sharing these slides with you afterwards. So ancient beauty across cultures. I won't be reading all of this, but a few points which we see throughout history around beauty. Beauty has always existed in society, in humanity, in some shape or form. And as I came online sharing spirituality and yoga and tantra, I have come across a lot of judgment around doing my makeup or around appearing or dressing the way that I do. And there is a lot of shame around the feminine expression and embodiment, the way that we adorn ourselves, the ways that we show up. But the truth is, it's always been here. In ancient Egypt, beauty was really a connection to spirit, and it was really done in ritual, like oil anointing, uh, perfumes and rituals, bathing rituals, and beauty and adornment was really a way to connect to spirit. And in Vedic India and Tantra, it's seen as divine. So ritualistic bathing, ritualistic adornment, the way that you dress, the way you put on jewelry, your makeup is all seen as embodying the goddess herself, embodying Lakshmi. And we've obviously lost this in the Western world. Um, I was living nomad by the ocean. The beauty I saw was nature, and it seemed to fill my internal and external beauty. Yes, Celeste, thank you for sharing. And that is Shakti in her many forms. We are embodiments of Shakti, and nature and the elements are all embodiments of Shakti. And it's really remembering the divine within us. So throughout history in ancient Greece as well, we see naked sculptures and art around the human body. So it was really seen as a divine embodiment, not something that we have to chase outside of ourselves, but something that we already are, that we activate and awaken and embody. In traditional Chinese culture as well, this is where we learned about jade rollers and about the yoni egg and herbal infusions for beauty as well. And these are thousands and thousands of year old traditions. So it's really about life force and chi rather than, look at me. That was a rhyme, but it's just been lost through the beauty industries. And of course, in indigenous cultures, we see this as well, that it's really an embodiment of our connection to spirit and to the elements. So beauty was not something to chase or to compare ourselves to others. It was a way to honor life, spirit, and the divine within the body, a ritual of devotion, a remembrance of the sacred within. So I'll start this a little bit by sharing my story around beauty and my own embodiment. So I grew up in Canada, in small town Canada, as many of you know, and these pictures on the left with blonde hair, I am not naturally blonde. I used to bleach my hair for a very long time. I think I wanted to look like Pamela Anderson at the time when I was like 15. So all of these pictures, I am a teenager in Canada, and ever since I could talk and remember, I wanted to leave small town Canada. I did not resonate with it at all. And this is before social media. This is before I really knew what was out in the world. No one I knew had ever left the town that I lived in, but I just knew like there's something more for me. This is not going to be my life no matter what. So we didn't have a computer at the time. This is in like grade 4 or 5, I remember. Um, the only access I had to a computer was the town library. Every single day on my walk home from school, I would spend hours at the library printing off papers of how I was going to leave Canada. And at the time, a lot of people said, "Oh, your daughter's so beautiful, and she's really pretty." And I heard that more than anything else. So for me, my way out of Canada was my beauty. And I was going to monetize on that. And I did. So I started modeling when I was 13. I started fitness competitions. I started promo modeling and going to different events. I even started my own promo modeling company. And this was my way out. And then I did get out. On the right is me living in Asia when I was 20. And I started modeling there. And then I also became an exotic dancer, if you know my story, for a couple of years to pay my way through university and also fund my many travels as I traveled to 70 countries on my own. And during this time, the years that I was modeling, especially, were the hardest years of my life by far. I was suicidal. I had the lowest amount of self-worth and self-esteem. I was in a very, very abusive relationship for almost 4 years during the time of these photos. Um, he was hospitalizing me. I was hospitalized many times. I felt stuck, but this was really my way out. And I had an eating disorder. I was bulimic for years, which really affected my overall health, but obviously affected my mental health and my dental health and my digestive health and my health on many levels. I was also an alcoholic through my teenage years. I drank minimum 5 times a week. And the 2 days that I didn't was probably because I didn't have money to, but I was always drinking. And the what fully putting your value on the external does to your psyche is so detrimental. And at the time, I just remember so many people being like, "Wow, you're so lucky. Like you can just get by with the way that you look and life must be so easy," and all of these things. And that was really the hardest days of my life, because when you put your full value on something that can be taken away at any moment and that can't last, and is an illusion. Like beauty in society's standards is an illusion. If you look at these pictures, and when I look back at pictures of myself, like there's such a big difference when I see when I'm truly happy and I'm radiant from within and just glowing inside out. And these, like I can feel the energy shift. So luckily for me, even though I was traveling and modeling, I always had a really deep inner pull, also since I was about 13 when I started modeling, at the same time feeling very pulled towards spirituality, especially Asian and Indian culture. So it was when I was about 22 years old. I had been modeling in Asia for a couple years. I was dating a Chinese billionaire who I loved very much, but being around that amount of wealth was really eye-opening for me, coming from small town Canada, to really see and learn that these people that are so wealthy, just how unhappy they really are behind closed doors. And I really think there's two most common ways that we have a spiritual awakening. Number one is we attain everything that we desired, everything that we thought would make us happy. And then we look around and we're like, what else is there? Like, I'm not happy. This isn't what I thought it would be. What else is there? I've attained everything materially and externally. Why aren't I happy? So there has to be something more. And then the other way is having everything taken from us, that tarot card or the tower card moment where we lose everything. And then also in the ashes of what our life used to be, we look around and we say, what else is there? Right? I can no longer identify with everything that I thought happiness or I thought my identity was. And this is also a part of aging as a woman. So now I don't have my looks the way that I used to. I don't get the same attention. What else is there now? And that can be very painful, or it can be a deeper calling back to our true selves, to our spirit. So I traveled to 70 countries, really looking for the answers of happiness, to put it the most simple way. I wanted to experience every culture, experience every religion, and go into every church and temple and mosque that I possibly could and figure out who had it, who figured it out, who figured out the secret of life. And really what I came to discover is that it's within, and it sounds, it's been said so many times, but everything that we're searching for is within us. And I love my travels. I love what I learned. I wouldn't change my path for the world, but I was seeking something that was within me the entire time. And even when it comes to seeking beauty and materials, it's the same kind of thing, right? We're always seeking, but it's within us. And during this time, I studied Ayurveda, I studied yoga, I studied meditation, I became a teacher, certified in many different paths. And eventually, I was living in this tug of war between my two lifestyles, which was modeling and living this like clubbing lifestyle, this kind of socialite lifestyle throughout Hong Kong and Bangkok and major Asian cities, and then living through in ashrams where I wouldn't wear any makeup and I had dreadlocks. Um, so it was like I was hiding in aspects of myself in both worlds, and I was judged for aspects of myself. So when I was with my modeling friends, they would make fun of me for having dreadlocks and for living out of a garbage bag, because basically when I started learning yoga, my teachers were like old Asian and Indian men, amazing teachers, but very masculine. They are renounciers, so they renounced everything. And I was just living out of like enough items. I owned enough items to fit into a grocery bag. And I was like proud of that at the time, that I got rid of all these things and I stopped brushing my hair. But then I would go with my friends in one world and, they would put me down for it. Then in the ashram, I remember like men in there, if I had a little bit of mascara on, they'd be like, "Are you wearing mascara? You're seriously wearing makeup in an ashram?" So it was this like tug of war where there was all this shame and suppression of certain aspects of myself. And I was never going to be a full renouncee, even though I tried. It's just like that wasn't it for me. And I did. I was celibate for 2 years. I didn't wear makeup. I had dreadlocks, and I went through this whole like very strict routine of being a yogi with who didn't own anything, and I slept on a yoga mat. And it all changed for me when I was in Byron Bay, Australia, and I was visiting there on vacation from Asia, and I walked into this women's workshop, and it was the first time I ever seen a goddess embodied. This is before social media. I didn't have social media for quite a while. Um, and she was in this beautiful white gown, and her presence was so powerful, and she was such a spiritual being. When you meet someone, you're like, she's done the work, like she gets it. And she shared her life story when she started. I just thought, this is such a powerful woman, and she's wearing makeup and she's adorned like a goddess. And that was the first time I ever saw that. And when I talked to her afterwards, she explained tantra to me, and this was my introduction to tantra when I was about 25. Um, And Tantra was really my permission slip to be all aspects of myself, to be this Western woman who has a lot of programming around beauty, around modeling, around aging, and all of these things that I work to release, but they're still there. And dressing as a Western woman feels good for me. Like that is, that's part of my life. That's half of my life. And then I moved to Asia, and that's a part of me as well. So it was really a permission slip to be all of me. So the greatest gift that Tantra gave me is that we get to be it all. We get to have it all. Abundance, radiance, beauty, love is our natural state. It's not something outside of ourselves. So this is a reclamation, a revolution. They want us to dim our power and our radiance. The world is calling us back to ourselves, which I've been sharing for almost a decade online in many different ways. And you can see Priya behind me. This is really a dancing between Western and Eastern worlds, and modern and ancient. And this image here is of a goddess, and we see this many times, of the goddess depicted with one leg up and one down. And that represents that we have one foot in this world and one foot in the divine. So we are in this world, but we are not of this world. So what that means is that we realize that we are not these avatars, these bodysuits. We're here temporarily. We are so much more than that. But we get to play in them. We get to adorn ourselves. We get to release the shame around who we are and just fully be who we came here to be. So after this workshop, I'm going to be emailing out a replay for everyone. And I've also created a bunch of rituals for you to reclaim and love all aspects of yourself. I spent some time creating these. They have been really powerful for me, and you'll get a copy of the slides. So I'm not going to go over all of these. It's just a little additional gift for you. If you have any comments, just welcoming in the chat as well. And then I've also shared some journaling prompts for you. Okay, so now we'll dive into Ayurveda. For those who are totally new to it, I'm so excited to share more. So Ayurveda, the translation, Ayur, is life or life force or chi. And then Veda is knowledge, wisdom, or science. So it's literally the wisdom or science of life. And it was created, as far as we know, over 5,000 years ago. So it's been around for a long time. And when we put this into perspective of Western science and medicine, it's pretty wild. And there's so many things that ancient Indian culture had mapped out around health, around wellness, around spirituality that we're only waking up to now in the West and even in science. So it teaches that we are nature, we are the elements, and through what we eat, through our natural cycles and rhythms, and through awareness, we come back to harmony with ourselves and the world around us. And for me, it's such a vast, beautiful path and science, if we want to call it that. But it's also just really common knowledge for me as well. It's like, of course, we're supposed to be in rhythm with the elements and the world around us. Of course, we're supposed to be living with the seasons and eating with the seasons. But due to all of these artificial ways of living, we have artificial lighting, so then we forget that we're supposed to sleep and rise with the sun. We have artificial fans, and then we forget that it's actually really hot out and we're meant to be eating in attunement with that heat. And as I say this, I have my AC on, so this is just a way of modern living, but it's also coming back to awareness of what's going on out there. What's going on with the elements, and how does that affect me? And Ayurveda, how it's different from Western medicine that I find is that it really puts everything into account. And as well as when we talk about beauty. So a lot of Western beauty, mainstream beauty, you'll see promises like have this cream and it will get rid of your dry skin or it will get rid of your fine lines. When Ayurveda, it has products for that, but then also it says eat this specifically for your body type, for your mental type as well. Do this breath work, do this type of yoga, exercise. It's literally everything. Even in Western medicine, it's like take this pill for this. Ayurveda is an entire way of living. It puts everything into account, which is how it should be. So it's not just about health, it's about alignment, it's about your spiritual practice, it's remembering who you truly are before the world told you who you are. And for me, this came to me intuitively with the elements. I used to meditate when I was very young and just feel my power through the elements. Like I felt intuitively, I am the wind, I'm the sun, I am fire. I can feel my fire of passion within me. And this is like when I was in elementary school and I'd never been introduced to these concepts. And whenever I felt out of my power or confused about who I was, I would just sit in nature and feel the elements and feel that I'm everything. And that's like, that was like plugging into like my power that I needed, like my power outlet, recharging. So the three doshas in Ayurveda are the three natural forces that shape how your body, energy, and mind work. And a little side note, you can Google what are my doshas, a dosha's quiz. And you have to be really careful here because there's so much to put into account. I remember for a long time I had my doshas wrong before I actually studied because I just took these online quizzes. It's best to see an actual practitioner and professional around this. Um, but if you can't, you can do the quizzes, but also just research. Now we have ChatGPT, which is helpful. Research more questions, like try to find an actual questionnaire that has 20 plus questions that puts in your entire lifestyle into account, not just a quiz that asks like 6 or 7 questions and then tells you what your doshas are, because it can be, I don't want to say like dangerous, but it could be unhealthy to not know yours if you think it's something else and then you're eating for that dosha and you're, using the oils and things and then you'll obviously notice that you'll become imbalanced. But I have talked to many clients and people who actually had their doshas incorrect because of these quizzes. So just being really aware of that. Um, Everyone actually has all three doshas in them, but there's one or two that are prominent. And the three doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata, I'm Vata Pitta, and Vata is air and space, it's movement and flow. Pitta is the fire, the inner fire, digestion and transformation. And Kapha is stability and structure. And even just by the way you look, most practitioners can look at you externally and know which ones you are as well through the state even of your tongue and your eyes as well and see what imbalances that you have. So Prakriti is your natural constitution. This is what you're born with. So these are the doshas. Everyone's born with their own mixture, unique mixture of doshas. And then Vikriti is your current state. So you may have an imbalance right now, or you may be balanced. Most of us are usually imbalanced. Uh, and what causes imbalance is our mental state, what we're eating, our daily habits, even the seasons, if we're not aligned and in tune with the seasons, our lifestyle and our environment. So a lot, again, is being put into account. The goal of Ayurveda is to keep your doshas in balance so that your current state matches your natural state. And I get this question quite a bit where, say, for example, I'm Vata Pitta. If I am feeling really sluggish and heavy, that could still be an imbalance in kapha. So I would focus on kapha, eating for kapha, balancing that dosha. Banyan Botanicals used to have the best super long and comprehensive quiz. Oh, that's amazing. They changed it. Oh, that's too bad. I feel like maybe ChatGPT would be able to create one, but I don't know. I've caught ChatGPT in a couple lies lately, so I don't know if it's actually as trustworthy as I originally thought. I'm sure there's some good ones online, but for the most part, some of the quizzes are just so short and it's really not enough to know. So example, as for myself, I'm Vata Pitta, which is creativity, active, good speaker, and my Vikriti, say if I have too much Vata, which is my current state, and I tend to have an imbalanced Vata. And this manifests as anxiety, insomnia. I get very dry skin, dry lips, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's usually how it comes out. It's also like it's very airy, so it's like a bit frantic and not able to like focus or not grounded. After all my years of travel, so for many years, I was planning my next flight, like packing and unpacking and getting ready for my next flight, and that was my life for years. Like I've been on over 600 flights. So every few days at times I was flying somewhere else. And Vata is air and ether. So flying all the time for someone who's Vata is likely going to really, make that energy go haywire unless you're doing a lot of grounding practices and eating grounding food. You're likely going to get really airy. So for me, I became I wasn't able to sleep at all. I was experiencing anxiety for the first time in my life. And my dry skin was just like out of control. I also just lived in the desert for a bit, and this is what brought me back really to my Ayurvedic daily routines because my skin got so dry that like my ears were bleeding and my scalp was bleeding. So those are extreme ways, but that's if I'm really not being mindful. And I also just felt when all of this was happening for years, sometimes more intense than others, depending what climate I was in, what season it was, how much I was traveling. I was just telling myself that this is who I am. Like I'm a dry skin person. There's products I can use that help temporarily, but as a person, I just have dry skin, right? And my hair doesn't grow that much. That was another thing. Um, I'm just like anxious and shaky. I also get shaky, and it's really a sign that I'm not grounded enough. And it's beautiful that we have these symptoms when we can bring them into our awareness. And it's like, oh, okay, that means that I need to eat more this way and I need to, really go into a more grounding yoga practice and come back to my practice in this way. So I wasn't all of those things. I was just imbalanced. And that's not naturally, I'm not that type of person. I was just imbalanced. Another example is if you're naturally kapha, and kapha's qualities are calm, steady, good endurance. They can go for a long time. And if you have too much kapha, you could feel heavy, low energy, experience weight gain. And to balance it, to bring it back to balance, you would eat lighter foods, you would move more, likely in the mornings as well, to start your day with movement. You would stay warm and active. And an example of a practice is breath of fire pranayama, which really gets your energy going. You could do that first thing in the morning. So the key point here is your natural type stays the same. It never changes, but your current imbalance does change, and that can be brought back to your natural state. So we focus again on the imbalance. Just giving anyone a moment if you have any questions around that. So if you know me and are familiar with my work, you know that I love archetypes, especially feminine archetypes. I have run programs on the archetypes of the Thought Tarot, which was the Empress Codes. And um, I also had my first book, which was going into the archetypes of Hinduism and ancient Greek. And so it's only natural that as I dive back into Ayurveda and the doshas, I created sacred feminine archetypes of the elements in nature around and inspired by the doshas. Is it possible for your baseline dosha to change over the course of your life? I would say anything's possible, but it's extremely uncommon. This is based, a lot of it is based on your DNA as well and your parents. So I imagine if you had a certain lifestyle for a long course of time, it could really turn into that, but mostly, yeah, our natural state never changes. So yeah, for these, thank you for the question, Gabriella. I'm glad you're here. So for these archetypal doshas and these feminine archetypes of radiance, which I have called them, uh, I feel that I can resonate more when it's like fun and feminine. And just remembering that archetypes and archetypal work is really learning how to tune into a certain energy and then embody it in our lives. So even when we work with Lakshmi, who is the Hindu goddess of beauty and love and sustainability, sustaining this earth and the beauty of this earth. She's the flower, she's the sun. Um, when we're working with her, it's really activating parts of ourselves that we feel are lacking, which is similar to the doshas. So if we're lacking in certain ways, then we focus on that dosha. And these are all different aspects of Shakti, as well as the doshas, as well as the goddesses. So each are really a holy mirror to ourselves and activating a way to activate qualities within ourselves that we feel are currently missing or lacking that we'd like to strengthen. So Vata is the ethereal muse, and she is air and ether. She is wind and space, the dreamer, the mystic, the dancer between worlds. And as I dive more deeply into my studies, I really feel the spiritual significance of the doshas as well, more than just the physical in the physical world. So her beauty is unpredictable and enchanting, like poetry written on the wind. Creativity pours from her like moonlight, but without grounding. She can become scattered or self-critical. She forgets to eat, to rest, to root, and she must remember that structure is devotion, not limitation. Her radiance mantra is when I am grounded, I become limitless. So the key here is becoming grounded. Pitta is the fiery creatrix, fire and water. She's the sun and the spark, the leader, the visionary, the fierce lover of truth. So Pitta types are the ones that really get things going. Her beauty is magnetic, confident, radiant, a gaze that burns through illusion. She's here to build, to transform, and to serve. But when she's imbalanced, she turns her fire inward in the form of perfectionism or comparison. These are also just very fiery types. Usually they can be quick, like tempered, they can be angry, like a fiery person who gets a lot of action done, but can also be reactive if they're imbalanced. So she must remember that rest is not weakness, softness is power. And her radiance mantra is when I soften, I magnetize and shine more brightly. And then Kapha is the earth priestess, earth and water. So she is the soil and rain. She is the embodiment of devotion and divine presence. Her beauty is lush, steady, and soft, like a blossoming rose or the hush of a forest. She feels deeply, loves deeply, and holds others with grace, but may forget her own needs. She must remember movement is medicine and her joy is sacred. So Kapha types tend to put others first and forget to fill their own cups. And they can become stagnant and heavy. So her beauty mantra is when I move, I activate my magnetism. So you're not only one thing or one way. You are the cycle, the dance, the evolution of all three. By honoring your dominant archetype and flowing with the seasons of your life and cycles, you return to a more intimate, pleasurable, natural expression of beauty. So we are meant to be living a life that turns us on, to be connected to the cycles, to the seasons. And this really isn't about following the next trend or chasing something outside of ourselves. It's remembering what we already are. So it's about choosing products, even, and also a lifestyle that brings you back to your pleasure, to your radiance, more back, returning to your true self rather than numbing yourself. Because so many products and promises that are given to us in society are actually creating distance from our true selves. And you can feel the difference even with products when you're having natural products from the earth, from the elements, and you're putting it on your body and you're doing it ritualistically and with awareness. The difference from just buying something that promises to change how you look, to make yourself different than who you already are, and just putting it on, and the intention's different. So it's really coming back to, this is why I call this sacred beauty. It's coming back to the sacredness of beauty, and beauty is sacred. It's not, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. If you desire to be beautiful, it is holy. And I've found that when we are really desiring and chasing to look a certain way or to buy certain things in, say, materialism, it is a deeper soul calling to come back to divine beauty. And if you want to call her Lakshmi, that's how I see divine beauty. So a calling by these beautiful things that are external, there's a deeper rooted calling to come back to yourself as Lakshmi. Okay, my loves. So opening space for you to share anything in the comments. I'm going to share a new program that I have with you that I'm so excited to share with you. And then we're going to end with a practice, which will be a short meditation and an EFT tapping. So I'll open up that space and then also share. I have my new program coming in. It's called She Who Is. I haven't fully launched it yet. It launches in 2 days, and I'm sharing this for the very first time with all of you. It is a 5-week journey to your most wild, radiant self through ancient ritual, Ayurveda, sisterhood, and devotional self-love. We're really reclaiming ourselves and reclaiming sacred beauty and radiance. And sisterhood is a really big part of this journey. I've created a private Facebook group, and I find that as we reprogram and rewrite these stories, it's really important to hold one another through it because it can bring up a lot of stuff. We all have some form of programming around our self-worth, around our external radiance, as well as our inner expression. And that's a big part of it. So I'm really excited. I'm keeping this container intimate, and this is a 5-week journey. When I named this, I was actually asking ChatGPT. I was like, what should we name this? She who is, she who is, she who is something. And then it just hit me, like nothing was feeling right. I'm like, she who is radiant, she who is powerful. I'm like, but she's all of the things. I'm like, and I don't really want to put anyone in a box. She who is just arriving exactly as she is, and she gets to decide. So it's like an open open title for anyone who comes in. Who are you? You decide, you tell us, and you're fully, every aspect of yourself is celebrated and welcomed here. So there's 5 modules. She who remembers, we reclaim beauty as a sacred path. She who radiates, we go into the feminine archetypes of radiance more, and the doshas and Ayurveda. She who devotes, life as a ritual, body as a temple, really coming into this ritualistic way of living. and way of adorning ourselves, and beauty as well, and self-love, and really devotion to yourself. She who is still. So this is the power of rest, and we'll do some work around the nervous system, because nervous system dysregulation is a block to our radiance. So we're really covering many aspects here. And then finally, we go into She Who Nourishes, going from the inside out. So we talk about the gut, because your inner glow also starts with the gut. Discovering how to nourish your radiance through food. Ayurveda believes that most diseases are around digestion and digestion health. So we'll dive into nourishment around our specific archetypes and doshas, and really how to go from the inside out. So I'm so excited. And then for those who are live with me for early birds, before I fully announce it in 2 days, I'm giving a $100 discount for the next 2 days. And honestly, I've made this pricing really attainable. I wanted to really share it with those who come live with me who are really interested in this path right now. So again, it's going to be an intimate container. I'm probably going to stop at around 12 people, because I really want to, for this first round, I'm going to be holding this again in the future. I'm also going to keep our sisterhood and our community open, so it will be growing. But yeah, I really want to like co-create this program and work more intimately with those who are excited about this and want to join. So here's the link if you want to save it right now before we go into our practice. And then also for anyone who's joining in the next 48 hours, who's attending this live and seeing this workshop, because no one else will know about this, you can go onto that webpage and you'll also receive instant access to my brand new course, You Are the Temple. I thought this would be really powerful together, because You Are the Temple is really coming into your divine essence and treating yourself as the divine embodied, and it goes into different rituals, creating your altar, how to honor the goddess inside and outside of you. So these two together will be really powerful leading up to She Who Is, because this is really doing the inner work and setting the tone for all of the other stuff that's coming. So saving that for those who want to join, and then we'll go into our practice. I already purchased You Are the Temple. Yay! I hope you're loving it. The Facebook group link is when you join She Who Is, it will be in there. And then I think after the program, I will be opening it up to anyone who's in my community who's really interested in this, or maybe clients only, I haven't decided. But for now, it's only for those who are joining the 5-week program. Okay, there's a lot of information. So closing your eyes, sitting up tall, and tuning back into your breath, into this moment, into your body. I just shared a lot of information with you. You'll have access to this afterwards, as well as the slides. So just taking this moment to release all of that information and become present with yourself. We'll take a deep breath in to the womb or into the lower belly. Deep, controlled inhale. Exhale out of the mouth. Letting any sound that wants to come out. Again, deep inhale in. Exhale out of the mouth. And one more time. Inhale in. Taking a moment as the non-judgmental witness to witness any thoughts or emotions, feelings, this topic or these topics and this wisdom, these truths have brought up within you. Knowing that anything that's arising is perfect, it's sacred, and just honoring that, noticing it and honoring it. bringing to your awareness any stories, old programming you feel is no longer serving you, anything that might be coming up that you're ready to release now. Knowing that you create your story around your expression, around your beauty, around your embodiment, around how you show up in the world. No one else. And imagine that you are standing barefoot in a wide open field, and it's dawn, the sun is rising. You feel the earth beneath your feet. The sky is painted soft pastel hues. The world is awakening. This energy of a new day, of a new beginning, remembering your connection to the sun, to the moon, to the cycles and the rhythms of this universe, knowing that you are it. Feeling the earth between your toes, envisioning roots growing from the soles of your feet down into the earth, deep into the earth. Our mother holding you, grounding you, reminding you that you belong here. Feeling the sun rising above you, pouring warm golden light over your skin. It feels so delicious, like a warm honey. Allowing the sun to remind you of your inner flame, your inner fire. This is your digestion and also your passion, that which lights your soul on fire, your radiance that starts from within. Feel the sacred fire burn away any doubts, any old stories that were never yours to keep, never yours to hold, any shame or guilt, insecurities that were never yours to hold. Allowing it to burn away now. Allowing the elements to purify, to cleanse. And now feeling a gentle breeze. The air brushes across your skin, whispering to you. Feeling your breath expand with the wind. Allow this wind to cleanse your mind. Allow it to remind you that you're ever changing, that you're untamed, that you're alive. And above you, the vast, limitless sky, the ethers, mysterious, spacious, limitless. And this field before you, an infinite field of possibility. Feel the power of the spaciousness, of the fact that you have access to infinite possibilities in this lifetime, infinite timelines. You are open, ready to receive. And now you hear water flowing around you. And perhaps you walk over to a natural stream. You anoint yourself with this holy water, this sacred water, pouring it over your face, your skin, cleansing you, washing away any old stories around who you are supposed to be, remembering who you came here to be, revealing your raw, wild, radiant self underneath, allowing her to shine through. And you sit up tall and remember you are the earth, rooted. You are the fire, radiant. You are the air, free. And you are the water, flowing. You hold the power of the elements of Shakti within you. The energy and the life force that births worlds lives within you, which means you can create any world that you desire, any reality you desire for yourself. And behind this power of Shakti is the sacred stillness of Shiva, the quiet witness holding you as you rise. Let this be your reclamation, your remembrance. You are the universe embodied. You are the elements embodied. And any imbalance you have, any suffering or pain you have, whether it's mental, physical, spiritual, it is all just coming back to your true nature, to the natural world. And in it, you have the ability to heal yourself. Remembering the power you have to heal yourself, trusting yourself, trusting your connection to all that is. Take a deep breath in, holding it at the top for a moment, containing this truth within you, and exhale out of the mouth. Maybe shaking it off. Brushing it off. Leaving your eyes closed. You're going to close this with an EFT tapping practice. If you're familiar with EFT tapping, you can leave your eyes closed and repeat after me and go through the sequence. If you've never done it before, then you can follow me, see where I'm tapping, and repeat after me. And I really invite you to repeat with conviction, even if it feels untrue, even if it's bringing up insecurities or discomfort, really saying it with as much conviction and power as you can. So we begin at the karate chop point. Even though the world told me how to look, how to shrink, how to perform, how to be, I'm done. I choose now to remember the truth of who I am. Wild, radiant, untamed, naturally beautiful. And even though there's been times I haven't loved myself fully, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. I forgive myself for every moment that I abandoned myself. I forgive myself for believing the lie that I was never enough. I release all of the shame that was never mine to carry. I return to my own radiance and power today. I choose to be seen exactly as I am, fully and unapologetically. Deep breath in, holding for a moment, holding at the top, and exhaling out of the mouth. Starting at the top of the head, repeating after me. I release every story that told me I had to be less than who I am. I release the voices that said I'm too much or not enough. I release the masks I wore to be loved or accepted. I dissolve the shame that was never mine to hold. I release the fear that my power and expression is dangerous. I let go of all of the old programming that didn't serve me. I release all of the old stories. I free myself from the weight of false expectations. I choose to stand now in my true wild beauty. I choose to stand now in my true wild beauty. I am the flame, the fire of passion. I am the river, the moon, and the soil. I am the elements embodied. I am nature embodied. I am beautiful in my radiance, my softness, and my strength. I am the goddess embodied, equally beautiful in my light and my darkness. I am the source of my radiance. Beauty is not something outside of me. I am my own source of radiance and beauty and pleasure. I honor the cycles within and outside of me. I honor my rising and my resting. I honor my fierce and my gentle. My desires and dreams are holy. I am an empty vessel for the goddess to express herself through. I am Shakti, she who creates worlds. I have the power to create any reality that I desire for myself. I now reclaim the woman I came here to be. I release, I release, I release. I release, I release, I release. I release, I release, I release. One more round. I trust the wisdom inside of me. I trust my inner wisdom above all else. I deeply belong to myself. I am free from the opinions and stories of others. I am free of their limiting beliefs. I am free of the box they attempt to put me in. I choose my own story. I choose my own path. I am powerful, worthy, and holy. I am powerful, worthy, and holy. I am the divine embodied. I am a sacred woman. I am one with the elements. I reclaim my power now. I reclaim my power now. I reclaim my power now. Relax the hands down, deep breath in. Containing and holding at the top, squeezing it all in, containing, holding all of those powerful affirmations within you, encoding them within your being as your truth. And exhale out of the mouth. Ha, shaking one last time. Ha, shaking off the old stories. Ha, leaving the eyes closed. Leaving your awareness with your breath, with this new energy moving through you. These truths that you may have already known or that are newly activated within you, honoring them, placing your hand over your heart, honoring your temple body for all that it's done for you up until this moment, honoring yourself for showing up, for saying yes, feeling the pulse of the elements moving through your being, the pulse of Shakti, of the divine. Ah. Reminding yourself of the intention you had at the start of this class. And inviting you after this to journal anything that has come up for you. Honoring wherever you are at, whatever season, whichever stage, knowing that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. This is coming to you, the perfect, sacred, divine timing. You're exactly where and who you are meant to be. Relaxing the hand down. And when you're ready, gently blinking the eyes open. Thank you so much, my loves, for joining this class. I'm honored to share this ancient wisdom with you with a little modern twist. I hope to see some of you in She Who Is. It feels really powerful. I had goosebumps through the creation of this entire program, and also craving sisterhood, intimate sisterhood in this way, to really move through and support each other through this reclamation, this releasing, and this remembrance. So again, you have 48 hours to join with the discount and also to receive the gift. Sending so much love. I will send the recording of this out in a little bit. Oh, love you too. Thank you so much for joining. and inviting you to spend some time with the rituals and the prompts as well, that I've shared in these slides. And if anyone has anything to share before we go, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited to dive deeper into Ayurveda and into a lot of the topics that we really just touched briefly on here. It's so powerful. It's such powerful wisdom, and I'm honored to be a messenger between it, between the ancient and modern and Eastern and Western. Okay, my loves. Wishing you a beautiful rest of your day or evening. Sending so much love.